Hey everybody, here to talk about the new TF2 update and give a rundown of some changes as well as a little bit of analysis about what they mean for the game in general and that sort of thing, pointing out possible consequences and so forth and what would be interesting, cool to look at, that sort of thing. So just a couple things to start off that aren't really related to this. I was gonna have like an update and Q&A video I wanted to get ready before Christmas, but I just didn't get it done. Basically, like I said in my other video, I'm quitting my job and I finally am done with it, which is fucking amazing. It's incredibly nice. My final discussion with my boss just cemented the fact that he's an asshole, basically. And then, yeah, I quit. Cool. Anyway, enough of that. But I just haven't had time to make it because I've been dealing with all sorts of bullshit from that. And I'm actually flying home soon, like very soon. And I won't have time to make it in between now and then. And I can't make it home because I'm going to have my shitty laptop, which is shit. Anyway, let's go. Fucking tough break update. Alright, cool. So, cool stuff. Blah, 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 backstory. Nobody cares. There's a new campaign. So a new little campaign medal you can buy for $6 essentially. There's new skins and stuff. A rainbow grenade launcher. All that stuff. So that's pretty cool. You get 26 contracts. Does that mean you only... I don't think that means you should get one every... Hold on. A 3-month event with 26 contracts. That would be roughly 2... Yeah. So they're still doing this thing where you only get like 2 contracts a week. So you get 26... So you're paying $6 for 26 contracts, basically. I don't think that's worth it. They need to make these way better. Like, the results have to be way more worth it. But they have 4 new collections. Gentleman's Harvest Pyroline of Warbird. So here you can see, oh, cool. Does anything look cool? I like that wrench. That pistol's pretty sweet. Pyroline rainbow shit. Nice. Warbird. The knife is pretty cool. I like the kind of checker theme on some of this stuff. That scattergun looks kind of cool. I think these weapon skins look better than the previous ones, but I'm still not like super interested. But one thing I really like is, as we'll see later on, they added a mod that tracks. Not a mod. They added an item that transfers strange stats now, which is fucking amazing. And I've been asking about that forever. So you get a contract pass, blah, 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 keeps track of kills and stuff, and you get a cosmetic case, and because when you buy it, you get access to this. 15 unique souvenirs and knickknacks, don't fucking care. The cosmetic game for me is like an interesting little thing, and I'll do it if I can, but I'm not going to spend a shit ton of money on stuff for it. Okay, so 4 new maps. This is really cool. Having new maps is really a very... I think it's a thing that TF2 hasn't done enough in the past, and so I'm pretty excited to see new maps getting released. Generally with most updates. So a Snowy Coast, a payload map. I haven't played a lot of these maps. I actually might have played this one a long time ago. But I like snow maps a lot. I'm very partial to snow maps. I'm glad there's being a couple more of them in the game because there's not a whole lot. There's a lot more like deserty maps and shit. I would like to see in the future some new map aesthetics. I know that requires completely remaking some, like completely making new assets and stuff, but I mean, I think it'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, new payload map, haven't played it yet. I'll play these in follow-up videos. I don't know, I'll try and make at least one video before I have to leave to go home for Christmas. But if I don't, I'll cover them when I get back, basically. But by that point, probably most people won't care. But I'll try and do it anyway. Vanguard, this was actually played in UGC, which is a competitive TF2 sort of thing. I don't know how much they changed it. I hope to God they have, because this is a 5 CP map. And I think the middle and second points are decent. I still think they needed some improvement in some respects. I'm not going to get into it right now. But the last point is pretty garbage compared to what I think could be done with it. So I hope that that gets changed. I hope that that's changed. Please, I hope that's changed. A high pass, a new King of the Hill map, cool. One thing I really have never liked about King of the Hill maps is when it's a big map where the point is not covered from snipers, and that is exactly what this map is. You look at this, the point is like completely exposed basically from like over here, over here, over here. That does not make me confident that I'll like this map. I mean, that's a big problem with a map like Lakeside. You talk about Lakeside and competitive, it is a sniper map. No class matters as much as sniper on that map. And that's because it's a long map, really big distances, where there's huge sight lines, and specifically the point can be seen by the sniper from almost anywhere he stands. I don't know if this map's going to be like that. I mean, that's a big reason, which I'll get to in the next map as well, Landfall, you can see below. Landfall is a capture the flag map. Previously, the issue with like 90% of capture the flag maps is there's always issues. Capture the flag as a game type, I think, is bad. I think there needs to be changes. For example, I think if the enemy takes your flag and you kill him and you stand by the flag, it should return quicker the more people that are standing by it, like a capture point. For one thing. Because basically the point is, if the flag gets far enough out of your base, there's simply no way you can defend it. Unless you can like somehow get multiple level 3s on top of it, there's no way you can defend it. They will eventually cap your flag. But previously, if they just made that change, capture the flag would be a lot better. But a big reason why I don't like capture the flag is every single official capture the flag map up to this point, I haven't played this. I don't know how good it is. I really like this aesthetic in the middle. It seems really cool. But every capture the flag map prior to this that's been official has been bad. Like strictly a bad map. Two Fort, Double Cross, Turbine, all of them are bad. And if you disagree, you don't understand how to make maps. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to get into it right now. But here, there are cardinal sins that they make. Number one, basically every single one of those maps requires you to walk behind the enemy spawn in some respects in order to get the flag. That is bad. Because it makes it incredibly easy for them to defend it, right? Like, let's say, here's what happens, right? You try to get to the flag, you kill a bunch of the enemy, right? Cool. You essentially walk past their spawn area, get the flag, but now they've respawned. So now you essentially have to kill them again, like their entire fucking team, on the way out to get the fucking flag. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to get to the fucking flag. Furthermore, it makes, like, if you get stalled at all getting the flag, they're going to have multiple respawn waves fighting you, and it's just not going to work. It's just really bad design. So I hope to God, whoever made this map, I hope to God that you put the flag in front of the spawn. They should have to try to defend the flag. If they lose too many people to the flag, they should lose it. And, like, that's what should happen. Or at the very least, put them, like, not behind the spawn. I don't know. Other things. And I think this map, so far, if this is like the middle of the map, I'm already liking it. Because there's huge obstructions like this tree that you can use and blah, blah, blah. Because in previous maps, you know, not so much Turbine, but kind of Turbine as well. Turbine just has like the big center area where there's like no flank routes. It's just kind of a big center area. So Sniper's still really good there because once you get up top, you can kind of just see everything. But sniping on those maps is way too good. Basically because on all those maps, you know, you walk 2 seconds out of spawn, other than Turbine. Even kind of Turbine still, though. You walk 2 seconds out of spawn, and you can, like, practically shoot into their spawn. Okay? Double Cross. Sniping spot. Walk out of the sniper deck, or walk out the front door. You can fucking see, like, everything. Immediately start sniping everybody. There's no way, if you're a good sniper, they get past you. I used to play on those servers a lot, because I like Team Interrobang servers a lot, but usually it's only the fucking stupid Capture the Flag servers that are full. So I hope to God if this is a good Capture the Flag map, it becomes popular. But I don't know why people like it so much. It's just so boring, so stupid. You like play Sniper on that map? I play Sniper on that map, and it's just like nobody can beat me. It's like the only time I've ever really been beaten by somebody, and it wasn't really beaten, it was kind of like even. And it's not really even beaten because I just started ignoring him, was where the enemy sniper wore a Darwin's Danger Shield and had a Vaccinator medic healing him on bullet resistance. Because it's like, there's no way to kill that, right? I have to essentially fully charge headshot him to kill him. Which is not easy if they're a decent sniper, basically. Overall, that was just frustrating, and I just started sniping everybody else. But yeah, hopefully they fixed some of the main map-making issues that have been prevalent in every other map. I've talked about that too much. Let's go on to other things. A bunch of taunts. I don't care. I've never cared about taunts. They're even more useless than cosmetics, because taunting is just like... Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't... This is stupid. Okay. Gameplay changes. This is the only thing that matters, basically, other than the maps. Okay, so base weapon switch speed change from essentially 2/3 of a second to 1/2 a second. It's like a 25% or 20% decrease in time. You know, that is interesting. I did not think they would do something like this. I think we'll have to see how it plays out. I think that overall, though, this is going to be a good change. Simply because the majority of classes, like, never use their secondaries. Or very rarely do it, right? So, for example, I think this is going to make Scout more likely to use pistols. I think it's going to make, you know, easier for Demo Man to not sticky spam, and you can use pipes more easily. It's going to make the heavy shotguns and all that stuff more viable to be used. It's going to make it easier to throw sandwiches out for people and eat the sandwich. It's going to make it easier to use as melee weapons. Engineer, you can actually switch between Wrangler and other weapons easier, or you can actually switch to the short circuit quicker to disable things, and so on and so forth. You know, the list goes on. So many snipers only use like the sniper rifle with a passive thing, like with the Razorback, with the Darwins, with the Cozy Camper. Now I think it's going to make stuff like Girardi way more viable, especially because it's been buffed and stuff, which we'll get to later. But I think that this is going to be a very interesting change. I think it's not a huge change either, which is also makes it nice, I think. Because even if it's not, like, you know, I think it's going to either make a slight improvement or not much difference at all, you know, is my diagnosis so far. Upon spawning, friendly players will be shown alive for 10 seconds. Kind of cool. It makes it pretty easy to determine who's a spy at your spawn. It also makes it pretty easy to know what classes are spawning. So, like, for example, if you're waiting for a teleport, if you're going to take a teleporter as, like, a scout and you turn behind you and you see a heavy outline coming, it's like, oh, I can probably just leave that for him and instead just walk there. You know, things like that. Just kind of a nice quality of life update. Updated weapon descriptions have better detail and functionality. That's huge. TF2 has the worst fucking item descriptions I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. They're useless and I fucking hate them. I hope to God that this changes a lot of them. It's disgusting. Like, if when you make a competitive game, I mean, you're really pissed off because it's like a huge game development, like, faux pas. Like, this is awful. I don't know how Valve hasn't changed this. I hope they've changed it a lot more. Then I hope it's just, like, completely fucking detailed. Like, people seem to think that adding numbers to things is confusing. If it is, fuck you. That's all I have to say. If you can't read numbers and what they mean, fuck you. Okay? Learn how to fucking read. Learn basic math. That is all. You should have the numbers completely visible so that I can look at one weapon and another weapon, know exactly every single detailed difference between them. I should be able to decide in isolation, without playing the game, exactly which weapon I want to use for a given situation. Okay? I should know, okay, this sniper rifle takes 5 seconds to charge. This one has a 20% increase to like a 20% decrease in charging time, so it takes 4 seconds to shoot, right? Like, that is what should be visible. It's frankly not been for a long time. There've been all sorts of hidden attributes and all this bullshit. And I hope to God that they just had somebody go through, look at all the changes, go on the fucking TF2 wiki, and just copy and paste shit. Because that's what needs to happen. Okay, cool. Because for me, it's not frustrating. I know, like, what 90% of the fucking weapons do almost exactly. After these changes, I'm going to have to relearn some things, but whatever. It's just for new players, it's extremely confusing when you read something, and like, when a weapon does something that it doesn't say, you know? It's like, that's really weird. Like, I don't know. It's just dumb. So I'm really fucking glad they fixed that. Okay, on to weapon things. I'll try to go a little bit faster because it's going pretty fast. Okay, panic attack. When you load it, it doesn't shoot automatically. You can hold them. A good change. Panic attack is largely not been used. I think this is going to make it actually a lot more viable because basically the issue with it is that it's been unreliable when you can shoot. Now you can essentially control when it shoots. So I think it can be a lot better for some classes. Specifically, I think it will be good for engineer now in some cases. Reserve shooter got nerfed, I think, mostly. So no longer boosts all around switch speed, but instead boosts switch 2 speed by 20%, switch from speed by 15%. So the switch 2 speed is a little bit bigger, and that's combined with the, I think, combined with the base weapon switch speed. So I think overall it switches even faster than before. Or maybe it's roughly the same. Again, I haven't exactly calculated the numbers. And when Valve calculates like percentage, like when they calculate like multiple percentage changes, it's not clear how they do it. I would assume it's a multiplicative thing, but these things are weird. Like when you get a crit on somebody who has a damage resistance, the numbers don't add up right. It's very strange how that math is done. But anyway, you can no longer mini crit jumping people, basically. I think that's a huge change. I think it was pretty bullshit that a pirate could whip out the reserve shooter, shoot a scout who's jumping from like, 50 yards away, 50 meters, whatever the fuck you use, and all of a sudden just deal 20 damage. That's kind of stupid. Cool. House of Toichi also got changed. So now it's a sword. All swords have a decrease in their holster time and increased range, which is cool. Honor bone changes. So now, previously, if you had the House of Toichi out and you didn't get a kill, you couldn't switch away from it. Now you can switch away from it, but you take 50 damage, and if you have less than 50 health, you can't switch away. I think that's a good change, because previously you would only really use it if you were a dedicated Demo Knight, because then you didn't even need to switch away. Now I could see it being used on Demo Man who isn't just using, it for Demo Knight. Now instead of getting 100% life on kill, you get 50% health gain on kill. That can result in overheal. So I like this, because previously what was bullshit... Oh, also there's no random crits. Previously what was bullshit is a demo would walk in with House of Toichi. You'd almost kill him, but he'd get a crit on one of your retarded teammates who walks at him. And you get full health again. It's like, okay, I'll just fucking kill him again, right? But then he crits another stupid teammate and gets all his life back, and so on and so forth. Now, he can't crit, first of all. And if he keeps doing that... he only gets 50% health. So what this essentially rewards is it rewards you if you can not take a lot of damage and get kills, right? Because then you can get overheal and so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. So it's it's a lot less bullshit now, which I like. On to class-specific changes. Pretty Boy's Pocket Pistol. Health increased on hit, increased from +3 to +5. I still don't think it's viable. It's getting there. I still think the issue is that when you have the Pretty Boys out, you take increased damage, but you're also trying to gain health back. So it's a very passive pistol in its current state. You don't want to fight somebody with it, because the health you gain from hitting people will not compensate the damage you take most of the time. So I think right now it is interesting. I think for one thing, I don't know if it does do this because I haven't used it a whole lot, but I think that you should be able to heal off buildings If you can heal off buildings, I think this would be a very interesting weapon that could possibly be useful. But overall, I would much rather have the Mad Milk, especially with its recent buffs, because the Mad Milk can heal you anyway. And when you extinguish somebody now, you get a 20% reduced cooldown, which is nice. Rap Assassin got buffed, which is kind of cool. I've always wondered why more people didn't use the Rap Assassin. Because it's basically, Scout rarely uses his melee for damage anyway. It's mostly just been that there's better options. I mean, like the Atomizer, I think, has a better passive effect with the ability to do a third jump. But now, basically, this kind of has an AoE type thing, and they increase the ball recharge rate. So, yeah, I think this is a little bit more interesting weapon that I think it's going to be kind of cool to run if you're not planning on doing anything else, really. I mean, why not run it? There's really no downsides to the weapon other than the damage penalty. So if you don't melee as Scout, you usually don't a lot. It's pretty good. Soldier, a lot of the soldier changes, excuse me, I think the soldier changes are probably the most questionable. They nerfed the Beggar's Bazooka. They decreased the blast radius by 20%. You know, with the accuracy loss on the Beggars, it's already hard enough to hit people, unless you're like at point blank, and this just makes it that much harder. Basically, this weapon has become very, very bad at mid-range. So basically now it's only a very, very close range weapon. And the issue with the Beggars is that soldiers slow, it's hard to get close range on people. So I don't know. I think the Beggars needs a change, but I don't think this is the right one. Conjurer, the health regeneration got doubled, so now it's 4 and +4 instead of +2. But now it's decreased if the player has been recently damaged. And this is another thing I'm talking about. This is so ambiguous. How much? It's decreased, okay, when you've been recently damaged. Okay, so what they have to clarify is regeneration rate has been decreased. How much? Does it go down to 2 health per second or 1 health per second or what? Why is it so fucking hard to say? I don't know. Valve and a lot of companies have this fucking obsession with not saying the fucking numbers. Say something like, regeneration rate is decreased to +2 health per second if player has been damaged by an enemy within 10 seconds. How fucking hard is that? It's so easy. It's so easy. I feel like the people who write these patch notes just simply don't, they just get a list handed to them, and they don't know what the fuck actually the weapons do. They just get handed a list and they're like, here you go, now write shit, and it's just completely unclear. I don't know. Why is it so hard to make those patch notes like that? Just give me the fucking numbers. So now people have to go in and fucking test it themselves and figure out the goddamn fucking numbers. Jesus Christ, that pisses me off. So, I mean, the change, because I mean, this is the part of the change that's unclear and determines if this is a buff or a nerf or if it doesn't change anything really that much. Like, what is it? Is it only, it says recently damaged. I'm assuming they're meaning all damage. Doesn't mean, but maybe it doesn't include self-damage. Maybe rocket jumping doesn't disable it. Maybe it's just like, I don't know. Whatever. Base jumper, they removed the hidden property of updraft when on fire. It's kind of just a gimmicky thing. I don't think that's going to change that much. Market Gardener got a 20% attack speed penalty. I don't think that really hurts it. I mean, it's kind of a gimmick weapon anyway. And usually you have plenty of time in between Market Garden attempts. The attack time will reset. Airstrike, I don't really like this. I think the Airstrike needed a little bit of a nerf. I think it was really strong, but I don't think this is the nerf really. So when you rocket jump, you get a 20% decrease blast radius. So it's a 28% when you compare it to the original. Like, these are the numbers I want to see. 28%. That's what I want to see. Why is that so hard? Anyway, so that's pretty significant. It's going to be very difficult to hit people. You're going to have to get, like, very, very close to direct hits on people. It's not going to splash very much. I don't know. I kind of like the airstrike before. I'm going to have to try it out more. Cleaner's Carbine for the sniper basically got a big buff, which I like. Previously, I just did not think it was that good. Now I would actually consider running it. I mean, when I ran Huntsman Sniper, which I rarely did, I would use the Cleaner's Carbine because I just thought it was kind of fun. But now it's like actually pretty decent. So first of all, they just buffed the firing rate, which is helpful. That means you can deal damage easier, which means that you get your meter filled. Because now they changed it to a meter. It fills Crikey meter, which fills when you deal damage, and it's no longer activated automatically when it fills up. it activates when you alt fire, so there's much more control over it. So overall, nice buffs to that weapon. It was pretty much undervalued before. Not undervalued, it pretty much was just not that good before. And now it's better, so we'll see if this is used more. Cozy Camper got the health regeneration quadrupled. Again, they have the same vague fucking statement. I've never understood the Cozy Camper. I think there's much better secondaries. I've never understood why it's good. Because basically, to my understanding, unless I am missing something, all it does is give you health regeneration, which is cool and all. But usually as Sniper, if you take damage, you die. I mean, usually it's like a spy backstabbing you, or a sniper headshotting you, or somebody's up in your face. You know, so health regen over time doesn't really help them. If it was like a burst regeneration over time, like let's say if I have the Cozy Camper up and I drop below half health, I all of a sudden regenerate a quarter of my health. That's interesting, you know? Because then if a soldier or somebody gets up in my face and they hit me with a rocket, I might get a little bit of a health boost that will help me survive. I think it'd be much more interesting if it gave burst health regen. And then, of course, it also stops you from flinching while you take damage, but I think that's relatively inconsequential. Really, that only matters if you're getting hit by a pyro, usually. That's usually the only class that matters against if you're on fire or something. What else? Fucking, yeah, Girardi also got the same thing as the Mad Milk, where the cooldowns reduced if you extinguish people. Kind of cool. Pyro, ooh, this will be fun. Pyro got a lot of changes, and everybody's mad. Oh, everybody's mad that Pyro got changed. It's fucking hilarious. Okay. So when you extinguish a teammate, you get 20 health with a Pyro. Kind of a nice buff. I think that's... I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, but I think it's a nice incentive to, you know, use Air Blast to... for more than just on the enemy. Consecutive Air Blast will no longer prevent enemies from air strafing. I like this change. One thing I really didn't like about the... I don't know if it changes this specifically, but one thing I don't like about the Air Blast is that, like, for example, if I'm a scout running away from the Pyro, the Air Blast, and he Air Blasts me away from him, it actually slows you down. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know, it's just weird. Here's, personally, what I think is the biggest change to Pyro. Flamethrower's damage falloff has been decreased, resulting in higher damage output at range. So the flames had damage falloff, and now the Pyro basically does substantially more damage at range. Again, they don't give the numbers because they're assholes, so I don't know exactly how much it is, so I can't give any definitive like numerical arguments, but it's nice. Degreaser got like kind of nerfed, kind of not. So no longer boosts the aileron switch speed. So instead the switch 2 speed is 60%, which is, I believe... let's check this out real quick. We'll I guess, hold on. It'll show the new things. I can't remember what it was before. I think it was a 60% or something before anyway. But regardless, the switch 2 speed is 60%, so it's very fast to switch to, but switching from is only 30%. So it's a little bit slower to switch from. But one thing you have to remember is that all weapons receive the switch 2 speed. It went from, you know, 2/3 of a second to half a second. So overall, I don't think the Degreaser... I think the switch 2 speed might even be faster than it was before. And the switch from speed is probably still slower than what it was before. So what they want you to do essentially is they're kind of encouraging you in combat situations to switch to the weapon rather than switch away. They remove the damage penalties, so it just does more damage. Air Blast cost was increased by 25%, so it takes 25 ammo instead of 20 ammo. And then they increased the afterburn penalty from 25% to 66%. So now this thing only does 1 damage every tick of burn damage. So yeah, I don't think this really hurts the Degreaser that much. The Air Blast cost is noticeable, but it's not incredible. So I don't think that that's a huge downside. I think it will be noticeable though. The afterburn thing's dangerous, but you gotta remember a lot of pyros run flares, and if you hit somebody with a flare, it'll override the burn effect with the flare burn effect, and then you don't have to worry about it. I think the biggest nerf to it is the switch from speed. Because, I mean, previously, if you guys watch competitive or anything, or really just any good pyro, everybody used the Degreaser, And that's because what you could do is there are so many like weapon combos you could do. You like light somebody on fire, air blast them, switch to the flare gun, immediately nail them with the flare while they're in the air and partially immobilized, and it just does a lot of damage for free, and it's not that much. You don't put yourself in harm's way that much. That's kind of nerfed now because it's harder to switch away from the degreaser to switch to a secondary and do stuff like that. We'll get to the flag in a second because this is hilarious. And then the extinguisher properties have been changed. So now they changed it again, so it's a 100% chance to crit. No matter if you hit him in the back or not, because before if you hit him in the back, it was a crit, and it was a mini crit if you hit him elsewhere. Now if you hit him, it's 100% crit chance, but it just does 33% damage penalty overall. So you'll still be able to kill. I think you'll be able to kill 125 HP classes still, basically, but it has slower attack speed and slower switch to speed. I don't like the switch to speed. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't think this really helps the extinguisher. It still is. This still seems rather lackluster to me. I still probably won't use it. I still don't think it's that good in its current state, unless somebody can come up with like a kind of a thing that I'm missing. And then the Phlogistinator. Oh my god. The amount of tears people have shed over this change is ridiculous. Like, people just bitch about it. Like, somebody made a video about it where I think he was honestly mad. Who was it? I'm like just confusing names. Funk or whatever made a video where he's like complaining about it. And I thought he was being sarcastic. Because from my understanding, I don't like watch a lot of other TF2 people like make videos. But from my understanding, the guy was mostly kind of a sarcastic guy, and like usually he was just being sarcastic about things. But I think he was honestly like mad about this. It's like, what? The flog is useless. It still is useless. Like, it still is not good. And I'm talking about high-level play. In pubs, of course, now it's going to be fucking incredible because everybody's a retard. But you should never balance a game around, public play or, middling or low levels of play. Games should always, always be balanced at the highest level of play. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for this. I believe there are entire fucking, articles and shit written about this. The reason you do that, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, it is easier to balance. Okay? I mean, and first of all, it's easier to balance and it's more consistent, okay? Pubs, you go from pub to pub. In some pubs, the Phlogistinator is going to be a fucking joke, right? You go to another pub, the Phlogistinator is going to be the best thing in the entire world. I can kill the entire enemy team and go on a 50 kill streak. And that is because the skill level in pubs is so widely varying. In high level comp play, the skill level is much more balanced. You use the flog in those, people know how to deal with it, they understand the mechanics of the game, and they will fucking annihilate you. I've played in comp games against people who try and use the Phlogistinator, and it's a joke. Like, what are they gonna try and do to me? They can't do anything. It's just, they're useless. And if you have trouble dealing with Phlogistinator pyros, you need to think more, okay? It's a very easy problem to solve. If you are a scout and you see a flog pyro, you either fucking murder him or you just run away. Easy. If you see a flag pyro and he's in your face and he taunts, you just run away. He can't catch you. Done. Problem solved. Soldier, you see a flag pyro. I mean, you could rocket jump away. You can fucking just juggle him with rockets because he can't air blast. He doesn't have the fucking air blast. Pyros with flog have no defense against soldiers. Absolutely none. If you're a soldier and you die to a flog pyro who doesn't just randomly come around the corner with crits already enabled, you deserved it. 100%. If you see the pyro taunting as a soldier, you should never die to him. There's just no way. Unless he flares you or something. You shouldn't die to the Phlogistinator at least. If you're a pyro, you can fucking run away. You can try and air blast him away after the taunt's over. There's a million options again. Demo Man, again, sticky jump away. Fucking, just put stickies in between you and him, because again, he doesn't have Air Blast. He can't do anything about the stickies with the Flog out. He walks over the stickies and dies, or he has to walk around them, in which case you just fucking drill him with pipes or something and he dies anyway, because he can't reflect them, because Pyro is useless without Air Blast. Spoilers. Not useless, but, you know, far less effective. Heavy, fucking just kill him, really. If you see the Pyro coming, he should just die. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. If the Pyro gets a jump on you, then, you know, good for him. You know, he could have probably just killed you with the fucking backburner then. Whatever. Engineer. Engineer's like the only class where it's kind of like, you're fucked. But at the same time, if an NG has his building with him, buildings don't take crit damage. So the Pyro still has trouble dealing with your buildings. So if you have like a level 3, just walk back to your level 3. And again, if he taunts, it's like a 2-second taunt. You can just run away. And Pyro moves slightly faster than base movement speed, but he's still probably not going to catch you, and your team will help you out, probably. And again, if you just maintain range on him, you can probably just, you know, shotgun him down or something. Anyway. Medic, you run faster than the Pyro, just run away. Easy. Sniper, again, you can just do what the Edgy does and just run away to your team. Or you can just charge up a shot and fucking waste the guy immediately after the Uber effect ends. You don't even have to headshot him. Just fucking body shot him and then finish him off with like any other source of damage. Easy. And again, you'll be at range, he'll just fucking die. Spy, again, just cloak and run away. You can try and ambi him or some shit. Unfortunately, previously, the Pyro didn't get the Uber effect because he gets an Uber effect now. If a Pyro taunted, he would just stab him in the back and he'd die. Which was always fun. But, yeah, I don't know. People, the amount of salt over this change is fucking hilarious. It still is a shit weapon. Like, it'll be good in pubs, but, like, if you play against actually good people, it's like, I'd rather use any other flamethrower. Like, maybe not the backburner. I still think the backburner needs some changes to make it better. But, yeah, this is lit, Sunny. For the Phlogistinator, here's what I think it needs. The issue with the Phlogistinator's effectiveness has always been two things. Number one, you lose Air Blast. Losing Air Blast is a big fucking deal. You can't fuck with Ubers anymore. You can't deflect projectiles away from your teammates. You can't extinguish teammates. All this shit. If you lose Air Blast as Pyro, you're losing so much power. And what are you getting? Okay? You're getting the ability to sometimes get crits, basically. Okay, but let me ask you this. Why would I want crits on a Pyro? Pyro is probably behind Engineer and Medic himself, the worst class to crits. Because, like, he has such limited range. And you gotta remember, the crits only applies to your flamethrower. You know, you can't even, it's not like you can whip out, it's not like the fucking Cleaner's Carbine where you can swap out another weapon and it still has the mini crits. No, the crits are only for the flamethrower. If you switch to the shotgun, you do not have crits. If you did, this weapon would be substantially better. I'm not saying that's what you should do to change it. But what I think he needs, what the Pyro needs with this, he needs a way to close gaps. It needs a passive way to close gaps when he taunts. So my diagnosis is that when he taunts, he should get a movement speed bonus. That's what should happen. Like 100%, I think that is an absolutely necessary change to make this weapon decent. Pyro should get a movement speed bonus after he does the taunt. Okay. Now, that might possibly make it... even still, I don't think it's too OP. I think Pyro should also get... in general, I think Pyro... I think there's two options. Number one, I think Pyro should get damage resistance after he taunts. Like 20% or something while the effect's active. Or Pyro should just get a base health increase when using the Phlogistinator. Like 25 health, so he's sitting at 200. Frankly, if you want my opinion, I think Pyro should get a 25 health boost in general. I think he has too little health. But, it's just like... yeah, so I think Pyro needs a way to mitigate damage better that either needs to be more health or more or like damage resistance when he's using this, and he also needs movement speed. Now, what I would suggest is change the crits to mini crits, because now mini crits are even more effective because it has less damage fall off and blah blah blah. So mini crits are still good. Give him mini crits, give him the speed bonus, and give him like 25% damage resistance when he taunts. I think that would make it so much better. And while you're at it, just make him immune to knockback effects during the entire duration of the Phlogistinator. Then I think that would be much better. It would be a lot less bullshit because he only has mini crits. You can, so you don't just like he can't just like instantly kill you if he gets close. It requires a little bit of effort, but it's also easier for him to get close. I think it's a nice trade-off. I don't know. I think that's what still needs to be changed. I don't know why people are complaining about it. Like, this change here is like, who the fuck cares? Honestly, it's like, I would challenge somebody to explain to me why this is significant. The only significant thing about it that I can see is that Pyros can no longer get backstabbed while they're taunting. If you taunt in front of the enemy team, you're still gonna die. They're still gonna fucking kill you. You can maybe use it now to try and like fuck with guns, maybe, because it's a 2-second vulnerability. You're immune to knockback. You can maybe try and fuck with guns with it, like taunt in front of a level 3, and maybe kind of use that as a way to help your team. I don't know, but whatever. I don't want to talk about that more. We'll talk about it more in like some of the videos or something. I spent like 8 minutes just talking about that. Medic got a lot of cool changes. Medics have slightly higher health regeneration with healing her patient. That's kind of cool. During setup time, Uber charge build rates increased by 3 times. I don't see why that's relevant because you can always get an Uber anyway. So I don't know why they did that, but okay. Amputator taunt can now be activated by alt fire, just a quality of life thing. Healing down with a taunt now grants small amounts of Uber charge. I still think the Amputator needs something else. My thing I was just mentioning is make the Amputator kind of like the Vaccinator, in that it gives overheal, but it's at a reduced rate. So maybe for the Amputator, make it give overheal at a 50% of its healing rate. Okay? I think it needs something like that, because it's just not good enough right now. Like, as a medic, when you stand still like that, you're making yourself hugely vulnerable, and the healing is completely wasted on people right now that have full HP, right? And meanwhile, while you're doing it, you're not getting overhealed to people or anything. I think it just needs to give overheal, and then it would be decent. Vaccinator got a ton of changes, man. This weapon has been changed so much recently, I fucking can't even remember what it does anymore. Remove health regeneration on proper resist, because previously the medic would gain health when his patient or he took damage based on the resistance. Added slight uber charge build on proper resist instead. Increased uber charge rate, cool. Reduced overheal uber charge build rate penalty from 33 to 66%. So healing an overheal patient is 33% more effective now. Cool. So Vaccinator got more changes. I still don't really like it. I think it's a little too gimmicky for me. Crusader's crossbow, healing an arrow, now grants uber charge, which is cool. Quick fix. Fixed cases could be affected by certain knockbacks. That's a bug fix. And then players can no longer capture objectives while under the effects of quick fix. Cool. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. Spy got some nice changes. So the cloak meter got changed. So when you're using cloak and dagger, it's based off motion, and when it's dead ringer, it says feign, just to make things a little clearer, hopefully. Dead ringer. This change was totally needed. I'm very glad they made this. So the initial damage reduction when feigning was increased from 50% to 75%. So now they've essentially halved the damage you take on the initial hit. Because I think this is really good. Because before, let's say you get hit by a rocket with a dead ringer, you're all of a sudden at like 60 HP, and it's like, who the fuck cares? You have to go get a health kit now, and you have to essentially reset everything. Now, if you take damage, it's not like, oh, I only took like 30 damage. I don't have to fucking go get a health kit now. I can still be useful. I think it was very much needed. So I'm looking much forward to using the dead ringer now. Spicicle, they basically fixed bugs, which is good. Heavy basically got melee changes only. Fist of Steel, they removed the deploy penalty time so you can take them out faster, but now holstering them takes longer. So they've made this more of a retreating weapon, right? You don't want to like go into combat with these out because of this holster time change, right? What this does is, especially with the decreased holster time in general across all weapons, is let's say you get into some trouble as heavy, or you notice the sniper's looking at you, you can quick take out the Fist of Steel to protect yourself. Boom, got him, and that protects you. But then when you put him away, it takes a long time, so you can't It's not meant for you to walk up into somebody's face with the Fist of Steel taking a little bit of damage and then immediately whip out your minigun and start destroying people. No. You're supposed to put them away significantly before you get into combat, basically. And the Gloves of Running Urgently kind of have the same thing. The holster time penalty was increased, so it takes longer to put them away. So again, they're kind of just encouraging these, because these two have been the dominant gloves in the competitive scene, because they're the best, basically. They have the highest utility, and heavy melee is all about utility, because its primary is just so fucking incredible that, why would you ever fucking melee, basically, other than for utility? So the Gloves of Running Urgently, again, they want you to put them away earlier, which I kind of like, and I don't think it really hurts the gloves that much, because these give you mini crits right when you have them out, and for a little while after you put them away, so you want to put them away early anyway. Warrior Spirit, you heal 50 health on kill, damage received and dealt increased by 30%, removed health penalty, because before we give you minus 30 health. Again, still not useful, because all this really is encouraging you to do is to melee people as heavy, which is just a gimmick. So, it's a gimmick weapon, which is fine. There could be gimmick weapons. I'm not saying it's you should never have gimmick weapons. All weapons should be equally viable. It's fine to have some weapons that are just kind of, jokes for fun when you do, silly things. And I think that's what this is. Eviction Notice. It's kind of like a stopgap, kind of like a midway point between the Gloves of Running Urgently and Default. It gives you speed speed bonus, not as much as the Gru, and it also increases damage taken by 20%, which is not as much as the mini crits you get from the Grus, so kind of just like a halfway point. Basically, if you're really worried, and it also doesn't have the holster time penalty, so it's kind of more of a thing where I could see this being useful on smaller maps, for example, like Viaduct, where you don't have to travel a super long distance and where you kind of have to get into the fight right away. But the Gru will definitely be better on longer maps. We have to run for an extended period of time. Demo Man, there's a lot of changes. Most of it's related to Demo Knight stuff. Shield Bash now deals damage at all ranges for all shields, scaled by distance. Melee damage boost after Shield Bash is based on the amount of charge consumed. So you get mini crits at 25% and full crit at 60%. Charging now removes all debuffs. So Bleed Fire, Mad Milk, Jarate, cool. All swords have a slower deploy and holster speed. But they also, again, have the increased melee range. And again, they're slower. It's a little bit slower than what switch speed was before the patch. I was testing this out earlier. So it makes it harder to use swords if you're not a committed Demo Knight. Splendid Screen, remove the ability to deal charge impact at any range, because now that's on all shields. And to compensate, they increased the recharge rate to 50%. And they also increased the blast resistance from 15 to 20%. So Splendid Screen, I think that's a buff. Because who the fuck cares about dealing the charge damage with the shield before? It wasn't that much usually, and I think this is a good change for it. Tide Turner, you get a mini crit instead of a full crit on Charge Bash. Reduce resistances to 15%. Cool. I still think they need to make the Tide Turner not stop as easily when you take damage, maybe. But, still, kind of ambivalent about some of these changes. Charge and Targe got nerfed. But it also got buffed as well, because remember now you can do the Shield Bash damage. So, yeah. I still think it's a nerf, though. Losing the fire immunity sucks. And, the blast resistance also sucks. Claymore removed charge duration bonus. Now instead it just restores health on kill and then remove the health penalty. And increases damage taken while active. I'm not sure about this. I kind of liked having the increased charge duration. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I liked it better the way it was before, personally, but I'm sure this is also fine. Persian Persuader, now you don't get health when you pick up ammo. When you pick up ammo, you get charge instead, and you gain charge meter on hit, and you have added penalties of reduced primary and secondary ammo. So this is definitely a weapon that encourages you to go full on Demo Knight. Quickie Bomb got a slight buff. The stickies fizzle after 4 seconds instead of 2 seconds. So now it's a little bit easier to leave your stickies on the ground for a little while longer, which I think is a nice buff, because I still think the regular Sticky Bomb launcher is better. Now the Quickie Bomb's a little bit better. So that's good. Ullaplicator. Base melee damage increased. Cool. So now it's not complete shit after the first hit. Has a fire rate penalty and a switch 2-time penalty. I don't like the switch 2-time penalty. I'm not sure why that's there. I frankly don't like either of these changes. They need to make it kind of what it was before. Because it needs to be able to, like, wreck people. The first hit. The first hit should... They're buffing, like, the aftermath. It's like, no. The first hit should be good. For me as Demo Man, why would I ever switch away from the grenade launcher and the sticky launcher, like, two of the most powerful weapons in the entire game, to hit somebody with a fucking piece of shit melee that's not going to even fucking kill them and just does damage to me and puts me in jeopardy? Like, why would I ever use it? Like, seriously. I don't know. I think this is bad balancing. They need to make the first hit actually do something. It was fine the way it was before, where it did like 160 damage or whatever. That was fine. That was good. Now it's like, I don't know. Loose cannon, reduce projectile speed, now a visible attribute. They reduce the impact damage from 60 to 50, and it's also skills with distance. And they reduce the knockback from the hit. The knockback can be bad or good. It kind of depends what you're going for. Sometimes you don't want to knock people back, but sometimes you do. So I think that's overall a nerf, though. Reducing the damage, obviously a nerf. I think they did this just because people are like pussies and they get mad. Wham! I got double donked from max distance and I died because I'm bad and I can't dodge anything. It's like, I don't know. And so it basically now, I'm pretty sure the main reason they did this is that now at long ranges with respect to the loose cannon, at least long loose cannon ranges, a medic will not die from a double donk. Because previously you could kill a medic in one shot and people would get mad about that. Mad. I'm mad. I'm mad. It's like, God forbid, you know, considering there's a fucking sniper in the game that can just body shot a medic like incredibly easily. I guess it's kind of not necessarily a fair comparison because Demo Man is strong with he has a sticky bomb launcher on top of the loose cannon usually, so it's, you know, maybe not exactly a fair comparison, but I don't know. People are just mad about the loose cannon. It's fucking hilarious. It's like the flog for Demo Man. I fucking love it. I love it when people get mad over that shit because it's like you just need to play better. Like the loose cannon isn't that good. It's good, but it's not amazing. Engineer got nerfed pretty unfortunately. So when you remove a sapper from a sentry, there's a 0.5 second delay before the sentry's active again. So that means that sapping guns is quite effective, and it gives spies more leeway to kind of fuck with NGs. Like previously, if you were a spy and you were fighting an NG, and you sapped his gun and you undisguised, you kind of had to made sure the gun was constantly sapped, otherwise it would just kill you. Now, you can let the NG remove the sapper as long as you're quick enough to put it back on, and that leaves you more time to fuck with the NG and try and kill him. So it really makes NGs a lot weaker against Spy. Especially Man vs. Machine, I don't fucking care. Especially because now the Jag takes 3 hits to destroy his sappers. The Jag is going to get fucking wrecked by Spies right now. It's not going to be pretty. Rescue Ranger also got a slight nerf on the healing done per bolt, which is kind of shitty for them. Okay, so let's scroll on here real quick because there's a bunch of performance improvements to the game for Linux and Mac, which is cool. I like that. Manpower changes. Do people even play this mode still? It's fucking stupid. It's worse than Man vs. Machine. Okay, General. So again, in Smith's time, you get a bunch of free shit. I already got all mine. Pretty nice. I got like a backpack expander and shit, which is really nice. I needed more backpack space, so that's cool. They added a mystery gift. It can be found by opening a tough break weapons case. Cool. So this is they finally fucking added this, a strange count transfer tool. This has been in fucking CS:GO forever and all this shit. You can finally transfer your strange scores from one weapon to another. As long as you have the matching strange parts, those will also transfer. Oh my god. And you can craft it too. It's just like, thank you for fucking finally doing this. I've been complaining about this for a long time. I've mentioned it before in previous videos and everything. Now they finally changed it, which is lovely. Updated case openings, so you're less likely to get duplicate items of the same rarity, which is nice. especially because we're paying so much for these crates. Updated several weapons with consistency fixes from a community member. I'm not sure. I wish they would say more about that. Oh, weapon sounds. Okay. Updated the scoreboard. What they did with the scoreboard I kind of like, actually. And they added like a stupid like bar image for the ping, but you can change it to the actual ping values. What is up with people's not wanting to show numbers? Like, are numbers like scary to people? Like, do people have like panic attacks when they see numbers or something? Like, it's like, the people not know what ping is, I think, is the main issue, is that people don't know what ping is. Like, I guess it's kind of a weird term. It comes from, basically with computers, you can ping something, which means you're basically testing the response time, which is what it is. Ping is just essentially the communication time between you and whatever you're trying to communicate with, in this case, the TF2 server. So if you have a ping of 50 milliseconds, that means it's 50 milliseconds, that's how long it takes for your computer to, like, essentially communicate with the server. I guess that's confusing to people. It's like, I don't understand why. I feel like, it seems like more and more these days, people are becoming like mathematically illiterate. They don't know, they can't interpret numbers, and that is very worrying to me as an educator, because I teach physics a lot. It's very worrying to me that people people are being taught to not think numerically. They're not being taught to think numerically, and it's like, people can think numerically, dude. Everybody's like, oh, math is hard for some people. It's like, yeah, it is hard for some people. But when we're talking about basic math, the multiplication and shit, like, unless you have like a serious mental disorder, like, you can do it. I don't know. Like, people are like, oh my god, it's calculus. It's so hard. It's like, the reason calculus is hard is because a lot of teachers suck at explaining it, first of all. The other reason it's hard is because, yeah, it is a little hard. You might have to actually, you know, put some effort into understanding it. But it's really, like, not that bad. Like, when I think of the math I've had to do as, like, a graduate physics student, it's like, you think calculus is hard, you are in for a world of fucking hurt, dude. Well, I also have a math degree. I have a bachelor's in math. But, so I'm probably biased when I talk about this shit, but it's fucking math, dude. Like, we're not asking you to fucking, I don't know, create a bijection between fucking rings or something. It's like, we just want you to fucking learn how to take a derivative of a polynomial, which is not hard, and it's fucking easy. You could probably teach a fucking, like, 2-year-old to do it. They might not understand what they're doing, but, like, the actual mathematical operations are easy. Anyway, enough of this bullshit. Updated weapon descriptions better. You better have actually fucking updated them or you're dead to me. They probably didn't, though. Gifted buy tags can now be removed from items via restore. Because apparently in the trading community, if something says gifted buy, it all of a sudden loses a lot of value, which is very confusing to me. I don't know, the whole trading community is dumb. I don't understand it. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. I don't know, man. Fixed a bug in members. Cool. Fixing bugs are nice. Strange parts can now be applied to strange cosmetics. Cool. Strange parts added in the backpack's context menu for strange items. Paints now display both market and Manco store prices in the backpack. Added case and crate opening animations. Cool. Fixing the fire texture on these in DirectX 8. Cool. I think most people don't even use that anymore. Updated the model's materials for Der Wintermantel and made it, Der Wintermantel, because it should be a V, but it's a W. Ha! And made it paintable. Updated the Cape Crusader to include team color. Players can no longer use blast damage to move in the... Okay, this is actually interesting. Players can no longer use blast damage to move during the pre-round freeze period. I don't know if you guys watch comp videos and stuff, but people would do this all the time. I don't think it's a big deal. It's just going to require some... And you can change it off anyway, if you really want to. But I don't think it's going to be a big issue, because neither team can do it, right? So I don't think it's going to be a big issue. Fixed Bicycle not melting properly if the spy is burned while stunned. That's good. Added an advanced option to batch overhead combat text. Cool. So yeah, that's basically everything. So yeah, overall, I like this update. There were a couple. I think most of the changes are cool, or at the very least, I think most of the changes are positive, or at least kind of, who cares, ambivalent. They don't really hurt anything. There are some changes that are bad, but you can't get everything. I think there's a lot of shit given to people for balancing stuff. But for me, the biggest thing is that they are trying, because there was like a 2-year period where we didn't see any balance changes. Like prior to the gunmetal update, the balance changes were like nothing for a very long time. And so seeing, like, they might change 1 or 2 things at once. There wasn't any like big balance changes. So seeing them trying to do this, I mean, it's obviously in preparation for the matchmaking to be released, but I'm glad that they're actually like taking it seriously. They're making changes before matchmaking so they can get stuff nailed down before matchmaking, so that when matchmaking comes out, shit isn't completely broken. I mean, there's always, it's balancing a game as complicated as TF2 is never going to be easy. They're not going to get everything perfect, and I think some changes they make are really dumb, and it's like obviously dumb. But a lot of changes they make that turn out to be dumb are not obvious. Like these degreaser changes. How, like, I don't think it's immediately obvious how these are going to affect things, right? Maybe it turns out this is going to make the degreaser completely fucking useless. Maybe. But I don't think it's hard. It's difficult to see that coming with these sorts of changes, right? I think Valve gets a lot of flack. Or most companies in general get a lot of flack when they do balancing. It's hard to balance these games. These are not easy games to balance. There are tons of interlocking effects that are just impossible to unravel them. And sometimes you just have to change something and see if it fucking works. And that's what I'm saying. I'm glad they're not, because that's what they have to do. There comes a point with these games where it's kind of like, okay, we can't really think about it much more. We kind of just have to fucking do it and see what happens. If we break everything, we fucking break everything. We have to fix it later. You have to be more. It's kind of like in physics. There's like theoretical, which is kind of doing math and shit and seeing how things work in the abstract. And there's like experimental, which is actually doing things. And when it comes to balancing games, it's important to understand some theory and like have a basic understanding of the game. But really, when the game is this complex as like TF2 or Dota, you can't. There are some changes that you make where it's just impossible to tell how things are going to work out. Especially when you make a lot of changes at once like this. Like one change, like the change in the Fist of Steel, might interlock with a change on Demo Man or something, and then all of a sudden that really changes things. But whatever. Anyway, I've talked for way too long. My throat is fucking sore. I basically got up and immediately recorded. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I wake up, I basically need to like take an hour to just drink a shit ton of water or something. But yeah. So what I'm probably gonna do is probably tomorrow, I'm probably gonna try and record some gameplay on these new maps. And I'm gonna go over at least a couple things. So I'm gonna post this ASAP, and I would like it if you guys would give me ideas on what specifically you want me to go over, because I'm gonna only have time probably to release one video before Christmas. So if you guys are specifically interested in my opinion on anything in specific, or you would like me just to play with something in specific or whatever, please tell me and I will try and do that, because I'll try and get those things in before I end up going home for Christmas. Because once I go home for Christmas, I'm basically, like I said in an earlier video, I have a lot of Fallout and Pillars of Eternity uploaded. So I'm going to be editing those over Christmas basically, and setting them to public and shit, and you'll see a lot of those. But I know that's not interesting for a lot of people. A lot of people only watch me for TF2 stuff. So if you're one of those people, tell me what you want to see. If you want to see me play with the beggars now with the blast radius is decreased, tell me. Basically, the things I can tell you I'm going to do for sure is I'm going to 100% play with the Degreaser and Phlogistonator and see how those have changed. Because that's very interesting. I'm probably also going to try and play with the Dead Ringer to see how that has affected things. And I will probably also play Um, maybe a soldier with beggars and conjurer or something. Those are the only things ideas I have right now. But like for example, if you really want to see me use a cleaner's carbine and see it and get my opinion on it, please tell me, and I will try and use that and see what it's gonna do. So yeah, so I'm gonna upload this basically as soon as I can tonight, and hopefully you guys can give me some input on that, which I can use to record a video and get what you guys want to see in it, and then yep. So next video I release is going to be TF2, or that's basically going to be the last video before I go home for Christmas. And then over Christmas I'm going to release a bunch of Fallout 4 and Pillars of Eternity. Did I say Path of Exile before? I always mix those two up because they have the same acronym, PoE. So whenever I say PoE, it's either Pillars of Eternity or Path of Exile. Both games I fucking love. I love both those games. I've been getting a lot more into Path of Exile lately, and more into Pillars of Eternity as well. I've kind of been playing a second file on Pillars of Eternity. I'm playing a druid because I love playing druid classes, man. I don't know what it is about them. I wish that they made the shape shifting more interesting in Pillars of Eternity, though. It's kind of meh, but whatever. Anyway, that's all for now. So yeah. What else did I get? Oh yeah, so like here we can look. I got a backpack extender, but like the stuff I got for my gift is you get a secret Saxton. For my gift, I got a gift pult, name tag, description tag, and some paint, and then I also got the backpack expander, which I already used. Because previously I only had 14 tabs, so it's actually almost full. But yeah, I need to do some crafting as well. You can see 4 lollichops and stuff. But I need to do some crafting and stuff, and I hoard crates so hard. Like I have really old crates, like a 57 crate. I don't even know when that was released. Probably like 1,000 years ago. But yeah. And I got these uber suck hill street kits I should just like sell or something. Specialized man melter. Sell these funny things. I should probably just sell. Or maybe I'll gift them to people. But whatever. Fucking okay, I'm done for now. So I have a lot of Machinas. I have the professional one. Headshot kills, dominations. I could transfer the kills from my other sniper rifle to this one. Because where's my other sniper rifle? Here. It has headshot kills and dominations, but it also has defenders killed. I might try and transfer this to the Night Owl, because I really like the Night Owl. I like the way it looks a lot, but whatever. Anyway, I've been rambling, so I will see you guys next time. Give me some ideas about what you want to see, and I will try and talk about them. So I'll see you guys later.